When we think of early Islamic history, we often picture dramatic battles, noble companions, and the miraculous rise of a faith that would change the world. But hidden beneath the swords and shields lies another kind of warfare, one fought not on the battlefield but in the shadows. It was a time of strategy, secrecy, and survival, and at the heart of it stood a man who is rarely mentioned in our stories, yet played a pivotal role in securing the Muslim community during its most vulnerable days. His name was Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman, and he is remembered as one of the first spies in Islam. Medina was still fragile. The Muslims had only recently migrated from Makkah, escaping persecution. While the believers focused on building their new society, enemies gathered in secret, plotting, watching, and waiting. The Quraysh of Makkah, humiliated by their failure to stop Islam, were preparing for revenge, and in the shadows of Medina itself, hypocrites and hostile tribes were already working to undermine the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This was a different kind of war, not open combat, but whispers, betrayals, and hidden alliances. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, understood that in order to protect the community, he needed information, not just faith and courage, but knowledge. And for that, he turned to someone with both loyalty and intelligence. Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman had grown up in both Makkah and Medina. He understood tribal politics. He could read people, and more importantly, he could be trusted. The Prophet, peace be upon him, gave him a unique task, one no other companion had been given before, to infiltrate the enemy ranks, to listen, observe, and report back. It was a mission not of violence, but of insight. His most legendary moment came during the Battle of the Trench, Ghazwat al-Khandaq. The Muslims were surrounded. A massive coalition of Quraysh, Ghatafan, and other tribes had laid siege to Medina. The Muslims had dug a deep trench to protect the city, a tactic unfamiliar in Arabian warfare, and it held off the enemy forces for weeks. But the danger wasn't just outside the trench. Inside Medina, the Jewish tribe of Banu Qurayza had betrayed their pact and were preparing to attack from within. The Muslims were trapped between two threats, starving, cold, and outnumbered. Morale was low, tensions were high, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, needed to know what the enemy was planning. So he called Huzaifa. The Prophet, peace be upon him, asked him to sneak into the enemy camp at night, gather intelligence, and report back. The weather was freezing. The winds howled through the dark, but Huzaifa wrapped himself tightly and crawled across the trench, inch by inch, until he reached the enemy side. In the darkness, he witnessed the camp unraveling. Hunger had set in, the weather was brutal, and most importantly, doubt was spreading among the coalition leaders. The siege was faltering. Huzaifa made his way closer and listened as Abu Sufyan, leader of the Quraysh, addressed his men. He admitted the campaign was failing. He was preparing to withdraw. Huzaifa had what he needed, but he had another opportunity. He was close enough to assassinate Abu Sufyan. One strike, and the Quraysh would lose their leader. But he remembered the Prophet's PBUH exact words. This mission was for information, not bloodshed. So he slipped away silently, returned to the Muslim camp, and relayed everything he had seen. That night, the tide of war shifted. The Muslims knew the siege was crumbling. The next day, the coalition armies began to withdraw. Medina was saved, not by swords, but by the quiet courage of one man. Huzaifa would go on to become known as the Keeper of Secrets. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had entrusted him with the names of the hypocrites in Medina, those who pretended to be Muslim but plotted against the community. Even after the Prophet's PBUH death, no one could get Huzaifa to reveal their identities, not even Caliph Umar, R.A., who used to watch Huzaifa during funeral prayers to guess who might be a hypocrite. His role teaches us something crucial. Intelligence and secrecy are not just modern tools of war. They were vital even in the earliest days of Islam. While the sword defends, the mind anticipates. While armies march, someone must watch the road ahead. If you're still watching this video, hit that subscribe button and join us as we uncover more lost strategies from the ancient world. So, which battle should we cover next? Let us know in the comments. Now back to the story. Huzaifa's legacy is more than just bravery. It is wisdom under pressure. He understood that victory often depends on knowing what others don't. In a time when betrayal could destroy the fragile Muslim community, He stood guard in silence, protecting the Prophet, PBUH, with loyalty sharper than any blade. Today, the world remembers warriors and conquerors, but let's not forget those who worked in silence, the ones who didn't fight for glory, but for truth. The first spy of Islam was not a villain hiding in the dark. He was a companion of the Prophet, peace be upon him, a man of faith, entrusted with secrets that could change the course of history. Thanks for watching.